In 1947, the most famous pilot in America, Admiral Richard E. Byrd, flew a mission over the North Pole. Byrd was not a conspiracy theorist. He was a war hero, a recipient of the Medal of Honor, and a man trusted implicitly by the United States government. He took off from the base in the Arctic with a full crew, cameras, and radio equipment. His mission was simple: map the frozen wasteland of the pole. But 3 hours into the flight, something happened that defied all logic. His radio signal went silent. For 3 hours, the base lost contact with the Admiral. When he finally returned, he was shaken. He was debriefed by the Pentagon and ordered to remain silent for the rest of his life. He followed those orders. But on his deathbed, his son found a diary hidden among his personal effects. A diary that detailed exactly what happened during those missing 3 hours. According to the text, Admiral Byrd did not fly over the pole. He flew into it. He describes seeing the ice end abruptly. Below him, instead of white snow, he saw green mountain ranges. He saw rivers. He saw forests. His instruments began to malfunction. The temperature gauge on his plane rose from 40 degrees below zero to 74 degrees Fahrenheit. And then he saw the impossible. Walking through the tall grass of this hidden valley was a creature that should have been extinct for 10,000 years. A woolly mammoth. Today, we are going to open the file on the hollow earth theory. We are not talking about Jules Verne or science fiction. We are talking about the classified reports of military operations, the strange seismic anomalies that baffled scientists, and the legend of Agartha, the kingdom inside the planet. We are taught in school that the Earth is a solid ball of rock with a molten iron core. But have you ever asked how we know that? No human has ever drilled deeper than 8 miles into the crust. The deepest hole in the world, the Kola super-deep borehole in Russia, barely scratched the surface. We are guessing what is down there based on math and seismic waves. But some physicists argue that a spinning sphere naturally forms a hollow center. Think of a washing machine on the spin cycle. The water and clothes are pushed to the edges, leaving the center empty. If the Earth was formed from spinning molten gas and rock, why would it be solid? Admiral Byrd's diary claims that, as he flew further into this green land, his plane was intercepted. But not by enemy fighters. He describes disc-shaped aircraft, marked with strange symbols, taking control of his flight instruments. They guided him to a landing in a shimmering city made of crystal. He was taken to meet a being he refers to only as the Master. The message Byrd received was not a threat. It was a warning. The Master told him that the inner world had been watching the surface dwellers for centuries, but they never interfered. Until 1945. When the United States dropped the atomic bombs on Japan, the inner civilization became terrified. They realized that humanity had finally discovered a power capable of destroying the entire planet, both the surface and the core. The Master told Byrd, "You have reached the point of no return. You are tampering with forces you do not understand." Byrd was sent back with a message for the Pentagon. "Stop the nuclear madness, or the world will be reset again." He delivered the message. And the government promptly classified it top secret and ordered him never to speak of it again. Skeptics say Byrd was hallucinating. They say the diary is a forgery, but then, how do you explain Operation Highjump? Just a few months before his North Pole flight, Byrd led a massive military armada to Antarctica. It was billed as a scientific expedition. But you don't bring an aircraft carrier, destroyers, and 4,000 troops to study penguins. Reports from the mission state that Byrd's fleet was attacked. Not by Russians, but by flying saucers that emerged from the water at incredible speeds. They destroyed several aircraft and killed dozens of men. Byrd told a Chilean newspaper upon his return that, in the event of a new war, the United States would be attacked by objects flying from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Was he fighting the guardians of the southern entrance to Agartha? The Thule Society, that secretive group linked to Hitler, thought the Aryan race came from inside the Earth. They even sent teams to Tibet and Antarctica to hunt for hidden entrances. They believed Agartha was the source of Vril energy, a kind of endless power. So why were both the Germans and Americans so eager to find a way into the ice? Let's look at the science. Seismologists often find shadow zones, where earthquake waves disappear or behave strangely as they pass through the core. They explain this away as liquid layers, but a hollow cavity would produce the exact same data. And then there are the auroras, the northern lights. Science says they are solar particles hitting the magnetic field, but ancient astronomers claimed the lights were actually the reflection of the inner sun escaping through the polar openings. Almost every ancient culture has a legend of the inner world. The Buddhists call it Shambhala. The Hindus call it Aryavarta. The Native Americans say their ancestors emerged from caves deep underground after the last cataclysm. The Hopi tribe speaks of the ant people who took them into the earth to survive the Great Fire. Are these just stories? Or are they historical records of refugees fleeing into the safety of the hollow shell? If the earth is hollow, it solves the mystery of the Adam and Eve story we discussed in the last video. If the surface is periodically wiped clean by pole shifts and asteroids, where does the advanced knowledge go? It doesn't disappear, it goes down. Agartha isn't a magical kingdom. It is a bunker, a planetary lifeboat where the genetic stock and the technology of the previous ages are preserved. The Master told Byrd that they would come forward again when the time is right. When humanity on the surface is on the brink of total destruction, they will emerge to help the survivors rebuild. Look at the UFO phenomenon today, the Tic Tac videos released by the Navy. These objects defy the laws of aerodynamics. They have no wings, no engines, and they can move from space to the ocean in seconds. Are they aliens from Mars, or are they our neighbors from downstairs? The idea that we are alone on this planet might be the biggest lie of all. We think we own the house, but we might just be living on the roof, completely unaware of the family living in the living room. Admiral Byrd died a frustrated man. He felt he had failed his mission to warn the world, but the diary survived. And now, thanks to the internet, the story is out. We can look at the blurred patches on Google Earth over the poles and wonder, what are they hiding? Why are civilians forbidden from flying over the poles? Why is Antarctica a locked-down military zone? Maybe they aren't hiding ice. Maybe they are hiding the entrance. The hollow Earth theory forces us to rethink everything. Gravity, geology, history, and our place in the universe. If there is a civilization down there that is thousands of years ahead of us, it explains why we see flying saucers. It explains why we have stories of gods. And it explains why the government is so terrified of disclosure. They aren't afraid of little green men. They are afraid of admitting that they are not the highest power on Earth. What do you think? Did Admiral Byrd really meet the Master? Is the Earth hollow, or is this the greatest piece of fiction ever written? Tell me in the comments, and you need to subscribe for the next video, because if there are two different civilizations on this planet, maybe there are two different bloodlines. In the next video, we are going to investigate the mystery of Rh-negative blood. Why do 15% of humans have blood that rejects the rest of the population? Are they the descendants of the gods? We are going to find out.